How y'all doing? Good morning. No, it's early on the West Coast. Hi, as Kelly and Liana mentioned, I'm Nobu, former NAR guy, former realtor, current Zillow dude. So like I come in peace. Here to talk about consumer trends and all the other good things when it comes to what that means for your business. We're entering some pretty unprecedented times right now when it comes to real estate, affordability, and everything else. And hopefully, we can give you some guidance as to what to do with your business going forward. A longtime realtor. People in my family have been in it for forever. Um, I don't know about you guys though. I'm pretty done with unprecedented times, but this is what we've got. Okay. When it comes to things like affordability and everything else we talk about, we are going to be dealing with this new normal for the foreseeable future. But the great thing about technology now, there's one thing that we can talk about, is that consumers, what they do online is pretty trackable. What they do, what they want is pretty clear. And it's your guys' job now as the day-to-day boots on the ground agents to start giving not only consumers what they know that they need, or it's also the advice they didn't know that they need as well. So we'll talk about that as well. If you could put all of your questions into the chat, I can't see what you guys are going to be asking, so we'll wait until after for me to answer any of the questions that you guys might have. But put anything in there. No holds barred. I've been in this business since 1993, my sophomore year in high school. So, any question that I can answer, be happy to do it. So, let me start sharing my screen here. Uh, Right. Let's start the show. All right. Y'all see it okay? Thumbs up. Perfect. All right. So, consumer data. We kind of delved into it during the introduction, but I think now is it's pretty safe to say that consumers are pretty much in the driver's seat and are the biggest disruptors that real estate will ever deal with. Okay, it's been about a year and a half since I've been with you guys, and while there's been a lot of changes with what consumers are wanting and needing, a lot of it has stayed the same in regards to what they want from you as day-to-day agents and for you guys as brokerage leaders in this world. But no, the more than anything, I hate this word. The word disruptor is like it's a drinking game for me. Every time I hear it, I got to take a shot. For you guys, what you guys should be thinking about is how you can disrupt your own business as time progresses, as affordability becomes a bigger and bigger issue, and home starts to become a thing that people redefine with themselves day to day. I think we could put to bed though, like a lot of these stats. So again, I used to work for NAR, and Lawrence Yoon, Jessica Louts are good friends of mine. We talk about this stuff every day. The value of a realtor has always been a thing. The value of people in a people business has always been a thing. You guys sell things in the real world, revel in the fact that you can't smell cat pee online. Like this is the world in which like you guys sell things in the real world with people who are emotional, they're stressful, they're doing this for the first time every time. And if you look at these stats for buyers and sellers who reported using an agent over the last couple of years, this has held pretty steady. 84%, 89% of buyers and sellers reported using an agent. And frankly, I don't think you guys want the other 10 to 15% of buyers and sellers who are out there wanting to do this alone. I have dealt with FISBOs. There are FISBOs for a reason, right? Let folks do what they think is right for them. Everyone else has got their hand out wanting your help. They're there. These stats have not changed this much, even during the crazy COVID period up until now. They need you. It's when they need you has become an issue. In terms of getting paid, guys, the commission isn't a thing. People do not care how much you make. They only care about how much they have to pay in order to transact on a home. Being transparent about that is an actual thing. We're going to talk about transparency later on in this session. But revel in the fact, guys, at the end of the day, 80% and 79% of sellers and buyers, guys, thought that what they paid you was fair or more than fair. Zillow enacted a poll and continue to engage with consumers on things like the commission because the lack of transparency on the commission has led to these issues that we have experienced up until this point. Now, going forward, when we're supposed to be very transparent about what it is that we charge for this good work, guys, don't be afraid to be transparent about it. Don't be afraid to share it because what sellers and buyers think is that what they paid you was fair or more than fair. And frankly, 7% and 9% of the sellers and buyers thought that what you guys were paid was underpaid, guys. Like the work that you put in as day-to-day agents dealing with the most stressful financial transaction that people have. Folks, they realize it after the fact. Your job now is to get people to realize what they're going to feel after the transaction before it. Okay? Let's put this stuff to bed. Be proud of what you do. Be proud of what you guys, how you guys work with agents and consumers in order to get the deal done for people's largest financial transaction of their life. Because now we're getting into this real weird part of time where you got perception of the market, perception of affordability, perception of home. This is their biggest driver. What has changed a lot since these COVID days was that folks are no longer trying to venture out and find a cheaper place to live and remote work. That has been said and done. Now it is really about affordability. If you were shut out, for example, in 2020, that same home on average cost you almost $50,000 more in order to buy. So I know you guys have all dealt with buyers who might have lost multiple offers in a transaction. These who didn't get to buy back in the heydays of the 2 and 3% interest rates are still looking if they're still your clients, but they're spending more. Arguably, because of things like inflation and everything else that we're experiencing in life, they're spending more on the day to day. You have to really think about how home integrates into the rest of their lives, how you could share things like what wealth management means, how buying a home is better than rent, all these things that we've been talking about, but you got to be a master of being able to go online and talking about it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week via your online presence. Perception of the market is absolutely huge. At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter what you say about things like affordability. It's about how people feel. And if anything, if I can give you some personal advice, to stop saying things like, well, back in the day when I was an agent in 1985, interest rates were 12%. Well, I can guarantee you as well that the average home price was a couple $100,000 less as well, right? So when we're talking about perception, it's not about what you think. It's about how our buyers and sellers feel about life and home and affordability right now. Okay. It's never about anything like rent. People want the American dream. It's about saving for that rent. All these stats we're going to see. And by the way, a lot of these stats are going to be based in the Portland, Oregon area because it's the biggest metro in the state. But we can break down, if I can, in some of the other markets that you guys are working with. See if I can get some data for you. Okay, so let's jump into it. As we've been seeing over the last couple of years with these stats, right? Buyers and sellers are getting older. The cohorts for buyers right now are millennials. They're ages 31 to 45. I want you to keep in mind here, and this is the joke that I make with my former NAR friends, is that we've been talking as an industry about millennials since they were 20. Now they're old. They're 45, 50 years old, guys. Now we're talking about their kids. We have to start acting on what buyers and sellers of any age who are connected to the internet and disconnected to the internet want and need. Because the longer they languish online, especially on the buy side, the more that they are misinformed about what they're seeing, guys, right? So when we're talking about buyers and sellers, think about these cohorts out there. Yes, they might be really engaged, but guys, I'll tell you right now, I know a lot of 20-year-olds who don't use a lot of high-tech stuff. And I know a lot of 80-year-olds who use very high-tech stuff to keep up with their grandchildren and their grandkids, right? So don't put people in generational boxes. Think about what they're experiencing, what they're feeling, but think about these cohorts as you're navigating what your business looks like over the next couple of years. Sellers now, the cohorts now are starting to become melded into one big group. Sellers now are anywhere age from 31 to 80. They're basically millennials all the way up to boomers, okay? They are making good money. They are staying in their home longer and longer. But in general, what you're seeing are for buyers sellers that everyone is getting older because it's taking longer and longer for people to save for their home. And you've got things like interest rates locking a lot of people into the homes that they are now, especially if they're a seller. Now, here's the thing to keep in mind. If you have an interest rate, what we're seeing on this end is if your seller has an interest rate in the sixes, in the high fives to the sixes, they are more apt to sell right now because that is kind of the new normal pre-COVID. As many of you guys know, I sold real estate pre-COVID. And when it comes to that interest rate, the mortgage rate, the comfortability of that lends to that even a lateral move isn't going to be that big of a hit. Okay. It's a matter of how much more they're going to be spending on that home. But think about what they're comfortable with. In general, what you're seeing is that these folks now are making really good money, right? Look at this cohort from 100 to $200,000 a year on up. The folks who are making money on the buy side and the sell side are the ones that are moving the needle. Yes, first-time home buyers, they are out there, but they continue to be shut out. When it comes to first down, your down payment, which continues to be an issue that folks or need to be educated about, they don't realize that at the end of the day, yeah, they may be making good money, but the rate they are saving may impact that 3, 5, 10, 20% down payment that they're at out there. But in general, guys, the people that you're going to be engaging with over the next couple of years are making really good money and are at that moment in their lives where they might be having families, they're thinking about moving up, especially if they're a buyer who bought during the COVID times and had to settle on a home, but they're researching things day to day and are incredibly sophisticated. According to NAR, the median down payment of first-time buyers is at an all-time high of 10% down, which is nuts, right? We all know the 3.5% FHA is a thing, as is 5% down conventional. But people are saving longer in order to get to the down payment of 10% in order to buy their first home. Now, that's the median down payment. It's an all-time high. Specifically with the average home in Portland, it is taking 10.2 years for that buyer to save that 10% on their home. So as you can see, if you're a buyer out there right now, you're waiting longer, you're dreaming longer, you're saving, and you're saving pennies from each paycheck in order to get to that point. But that 10% down is a pretty substantial down payment, right? Education on down payment continues to be an issue. If I were you right now, I'd be auditing your education right now as to what you're educating as what is the needed first time home buyer, first time down payment to buy a home. Really. And remember, anytime somebody does this, it's going to be the first time every time, right? Of those buyers, guys, 52% of them reach out to an agent first. So as they're dreaming online, the first thing they're going to do is reach out to an agent, right? Far second is mortgage. What we're seeing is that if they're reaching out to a mortgage person first, okay, they are more apt to pull the trigger earlier than they would have. They might be kicking the tires when they're reaching out to you, but don't ever throw somebody back in the pool if they're reaching out to you just for questions or want to go see a home. They're reaching out to you for a reason. If they've chosen you, that is a really good sign. Another thing that has changed since the pre-COVID, COVID, and then now post-COVID days, that you see a lot of folks trying to navigate to and from major metros based on affordability. What you're seeing now is that pretty much is settled, right? You're getting the same West Coast, Pacific Northwest buyer looking for homes in Portland, Oregon. That has not changed much year to year, but you've seen a massive drop off in the other Pacific Northwest and West Coast cities that are out there looking for a cheaper place to live. So more than likely, if you are trying to cater your business to buyers out there, these are people that are going to be in the Portland, Oregon area. The days of folks moving great distances to find a new home pretty much are done. Okay, and specifically in Oregon, you've got other issues in terms of affordability kind of guiding that. But more than anything right now, the likelihood of somebody reaching out to you for a buy or even sale side being an Oregonian is going to be a thing. Okay, so no need to think about, okay, what does a Californian want? What does a Phoenix, Arizona person want? Because we'll talk about those stats in a little bit. But more than likely, anyone reaching out to you is going to be somebody from your state. Okay. Now, on the sell side, what we're seeing is this. Because of this mortgage rate lock-in, 81% of homeowners have no plans to sell within the next 3 years. Now, this stat is still alive today. That stat is also going down. This stat was first shared about a year and a half ago with you guys. So now we're getting to the point where a year and a half later, folks are starting to prepare for the sell side. Anyone looking and reaching out to you right now to sell their home is stalking you right now. Okay? They're stalking your presence, they're stalking your social media, they're stalking your marketing. You better be useful. We're going to talk about this in a minute, but there is no other choice right now but then to make sure that your marketing is effective online as you guys are offline with their experiences as folks become closer and closer to make their change, right? Life changes right now are the thing that people are citing to make their move from one home to another. Skewing younger, you're seeing these folks who may have overpaid for their home during the COVID years now starting to pop out kids. They're starting to have babies. The family the family construct is starting to get bigger, right? So skewing younger, they're looking for newer, bigger homes. Now, if you're the other cohort for this is going to be the older folks. They're looking to retire, right? They're maybe looking to get out from underneath the home they have. Maybe they're renting out a home that they have. Asking better questions of sellers now is the thing. If you are not giving sellers right now exit strategies to move in your state from maybe Portland to maybe a cheaper part of the state or in the Pacific Northwest, you're not leveraging your network. If you've got one, great. Attend Oregon Realtors Association meetings. You can meet agents from across the country, create your network there, people who are like-minded as you are in terms of customer service and client care. It is essential right now to think about what your network looks like as an exit strategy for sellers that are out there right now. These stats have not moved too much, right? So we mentioned change in household or family size. Jobs are a thing. Now, new job or job transfer. The folks who are now having to go back into the office and now having to move back closer to the major metro area, it started to move the needle a little bit, which is thrown in this new job or job transfer percentage. But you're seeing here, right? The big shift though, as you can see, the folks who are retiring, right? They've made their money in the stock market. This K-shaped economy is really helping them out. So when they're seeing the stock price, maybe they can sell their rental home or the home that they've rented out and go from there. So as you can see, what you're going to need to give to a seller out there right now is very sophisticated. It's not just things like selling home. It might be the property tax issues that they're dealing with, capital gains taxes. If you've got a wealth management partner in your sphere of influence, I'd be using those folks more than ever right now. Okay, but where you're seeing right now that in general, these decisions to move are pretty much the same. What's interesting is now sellers have a bigger down payment, right? The medium down payment of sellers right now, they have 23% at least down to put on their next home. It's cashing out equity, right? Is something that even now they still don't understand based on some AI prompts that we're seeing right now. So instead of using things like equity, talk about profit, right? When we're talking about marketing, makes commission conversations a lot easier. But down payment of sellers in general are getting higher and higher. They know that most sellers know that they're sitting on a gold mine that they're looking for and have a very attractive product for people out there. What they need is a place to go, and they've got the down payment to get through most of the issues that you're seeing right now. 20%, as we all know, is kind of the magic mark when it comes to financing. 50% of those sellers are also buyers. We all know this. Most sellers who have a home to sell, they find the house they want to buy first, biggest trend that's out there, right? And then reach out to you to sell their house. Hey, I found the house that I want to buy, well, online at an open house or anywhere where they're seeing, even sometimes coming from their friends and their family members, and then they reach out to you. So constant contact with sellers, people in your sphere that you helped buy over the last 5-6 years. Start thinking about how you're going to engage with them. An interesting stat that popped up though is that 45% of these sellers moved into a home they already own. So this is the retiree cohort that we're talking about with sellers. They already have the home. Maybe it's a second home that they already had, but they're selling their primary or selling one of their homes in order to move into that second home that they already have. So as you can see, sellers are incredibly sophisticated. It's not just about selling their home, it's that hit on maybe their investment portfolio that they're going to need advice on. The sophistication of sellers are at an all-time high. Stop telling them that they have tons of equity to cash out. They know it. You need to go into much more detail based on the predicament that they find themselves in when it comes to the home in their investment portfolio. Okay? So think about how you're going to engage with sellers going forward. Average years in a home right now over the last couple of years is 12. So these people have, unless they've refinanced their home, they have a ton of profit that they can actually see in the equity after they pay you out when it comes to commission during a transaction. They know this. They've been in the home for forever. They've been educated by all things online, as I'll show you in a minute. At the end of the day, guys, sellers are incredibly sophisticated. Do not dumb this down anymore. Last year, the average time sellers spent in their home was 14. So last year, you're starting to see these folks. Okay, maybe I refinanced it, paid it down, but I've got enough equity to result in a profit to see some gains. Okay, sophistication is at an all-time high, which really leads to this, right? This stat. Anytime somebody has reached out to you for advice, to go see a home, to go kick the tires, maybe they want you to sit with them and talk about equity to profit. 65 to 75% of them, depending on who you talk to, they are not ready to buy or sell at the moment they are engaging with you. Very, very few people are ready. And ready, by the way, according to Google, Realtor.com, Zillow, is anywhere from 1 month to 2 months of action. No one gets up and says, I'm ready to buy or sell a house today. They research online, they dream online, they reach out to a human to get some real advice. Where we have gotten this wrong in this industry is that anytime somebody says to you that they're not ready, we throw them back and say, call me when you're ready. You can no longer do that. Okay? We're going to talk about the infrastructure you're going to need later on, but you need to know that 2 to 3 of every person, every 5 people you meet are not ready to do anything on the buy or sell side. So how are you going to educate is going to be the biggest issue. Now, Liana's new here. Kelly, I work with Kelly a lot, Oregon Realtors. Going back to my days at NAR, I would say that guys, you need to start educating the consumer better than ever before. This is pre lawsuit. This is during the kind of the crazy days of the lawsuit, now post transaction or post COVID. This has not changed, folks. The quality of your education right now and how you stay in contact with buyers and sellers who are not your clients yet will dictate the future of you in this business, guys. What are you going to do with those 3 to 4 people who aren't ready to use you? Don't throw them back in the pool. Keep them latched onto your business, and your brand. Okay? Because here are the stats that we're seeing. 49% of buyers research 2 to 6 months before pulling the trigger. 22% of what's left research for 6 or more months, folks. They're dreaming 6+ months before they reach out to an agent. 53% of sellers research 2 to 6 months, with 27% researching 6+ months. You are now in the long game. This is a numbers game. For those of you guys who may have been in the lead generation or lead buying game before, it used to be, especially during the COVID days, it's finding quality over quantity. Now everyone is in the same boat. Affordability, home it's being redefined. It's taking longer to buy and sell and save for that transaction. What are you doing to keep your brand sticky with these folks? It's an age-old problem that, for the most part, has been figured out by the truly successful agents that are out there that I engage with. For the rest of us, we need to understand at the end of the day, these folks are reaching out to you for a reason. Keep them on your brand as long as it takes. For all of us have had someone who wasn't ready to buy or sell today, but gave you their friends and their family up until that point. Earning the loyalty now is something that you need to institutionalize in your business more than ever before through effective marketing, through effective outreach, starting right now. It's not just about buying and selling a home, it's all the other things around buying and selling a home, which consumers now have more tools to use than ever before. They reach out to a human. Your job now is to be attractive as a brand, to want to attract their business sooner rather than later, right? Essentially, this is what we're talking about here. The chaos of the transaction is absolutely freaking nuts. But right now, people think that dreaming online is the thing. Your job now is to get them online where all the opportunity is right now. Okay? Now, what does that look like? Okay? The lessons we have learned over the last couple of years up until this point is that your first, second, and third showing for your listing, your first, second, third impression that you make happens online. Apps are downloaded, websites are used. People talk to their friends and their family about their experiences and who to reach out to. Right? More than anything, your online presence needs to be as useful as you are offline. And if you don't know, folks, this is a really good time of year to get your top 10, 20 clients who have given you the most referrals over the last couple of years and ask them, hey, why have you consistently given my name out when you have a choice? Okay. Now, on top of that, what you have to deal with now is artificial intelligence. Everything now is attached to AI. AI is being integrated into everything that your clients are using day to day. Be aware of that. If it's not a person stalking you, it is an AI bot that's doing it that's going to lend somebody advice sooner rather than later and point them in the right direction. Think about your online presence as useful. If you're not useful online, people aren't going to think that you're going to be useful offline. It's a huge lesson that we needed to learn over the last 20 years. You have got no choice now in this new age of online search. Okay. Now, this previous success that you're seeing right now, as these people are dreaming online, you're seeing more and more how they are influenced, right? 41% of consumers had no idea who to use after browsing brokerage websites. Why? Because all of you guys have the exact same headshot on the exact same looking website saying the exact same thing. Engage with your previous clients and talk about what makes you different and share that everywhere as your first step, right? 50% of consumers dislike brokerage websites due to its lack of customization. I can't customize anything, but I'm used to customizing everything else in my life right now. It's a lesson you need to learn. There's reasons for that. Share the reasons why you can't have everything as a buyer and seller out there, right? There's information that is held close to the chest for a reason. Be transparent when it comes to all of that, but talk about the lack of customization because I, as a consumer, can customize everything else. Rich media now is really influencing how they work. There are more listing views and more listings saved with 3D tours and videos, okay? And 86% of consumers factored in a one-stop shopping experience picking an agent, which means that once they trust you, they want to trust your mortgage guy, your title guy, your lawyer, your dog walker, your plumber, your electrician, and all those other folks that are out there. Now, when you think about it, that's a marketing boom for you. Integrating all the people that move the transaction behind the scenes and bringing them out into the world, making things transparent with them is absolutely huge. Share your sphere with your new customer and client base. It's a huge part of the decision making and absorbing that information through video. Looking at your listings through video tours is a thing. And I will tell you guys, especially with these the rich media and 3D tour stat, every agent and brokerage I know that had been doing this even through the COVID days are thriving now. So you're working with brokerages and agents and teams that have a 6 month to a 1 year head start, if not more. Okay. Now's the time to catch up if you're not doing that. Keep in mind also, and this is the stuff that associations and MLS hate it, hate talking about, but 60% of MLS subscribers and agents in your association won't do a deal. Well, maybe do one or less this year. Your competition, folks, isn't all those other folks that are out there that are hemming and hawing and complaining about lack of business. It's the folks that are silent out there that are doing the business right now that are really setting the bar high start catching up with what they're doing because they're doing it the right way. Now, where do you start? How do you attract these folks that are wanting to engage with you 2 to 6 months before they even reaching out to you? Usefulness is huge, but when you think about your brand presence and what you do online versus off, if you're not adding wisdom and intelligence to the data and information that's already out there, you are doing this business wrong. Tell the story of you. Tell the story of your markets. Get really, really granular. Do the things that big tech cannot do, and that's a lot, folks, right? You guys all work in micro markets across the cities that you work in and the states that you operate in. Telling the story of these micro markets are absolutely huge. Be transparent about that. Talk about it. Talk about how to, what you're seeing out in the real world like a human being. Get your mortgage people, your title people, your lawyers talking about the issues that they're seeing in every transaction because there are 4 million transactions they'll get done. That's 8 million sides per year. Everyone has a different experience, which is why technology can't out-tech the human experience. Okay? Tech will get you there. Tech might point your consumers and your customers in the right direction. That leads to you. It's a good thing, right? That's where your online to offline persona actually works. What you have no choice on anymore, though, is optimizing you and your brand and your presence for artificial intelligence. As I mentioned before, guys, AI is being integrated into dang near everything. Okay. When you see the things that are out there, it's pretty crazy. But what's funny about this whole AI like thing is that more and more what the AI researchers out there are seeing is that you need to actually get a lot more human when you're dealing with technology now. Okay, which you're bringing in all these words: trust, transparency, empathy, predictability. By the way, is the biggest thing out there. Again, emotion, stress is something that people don't really know how to foresee. But in regards to the biggest financial transaction of their life, they want some predictability. We all know the predictability of a transaction is a thing that we can't dictate, right? It's how we work together and set the tone together to get that transaction done. But how you convey your value and your value proposition, by the way, it's been watered down by the thousands of other agents not on this webinar right now. How you convey this is through a trust proposition, right? Humanize yourself. Talk about all these things. Every buyer and seller is doing this for the first time. Every time you're seeing a sellers, right? 12 to 14 years it takes for them to pull the trigger on a sale of a home. They're doing this for the first time every time. Frankly, if you bought a home last year, it's going to be very different from buying a home this year. Same thing with a sell. You've got to convey that in a very human way. Get them offline into the real world as much as possible. Where this AI stuff is starting to change everything is this: 800 million people are using just ChatGPT a week, guys. Start an account if you haven't already. ChatGPT is, AI in general is now the third platform that you're going to have to think about how your brand conveys. Are you showing up in ChatGPT in a worthwhile way? News in regards to artificial intelligence is a thing, man. AI no longer will do things like give people medical advice. AI is starting to do things like point people to other people based on their reviews and information that they are sharing. Also, most of the people that you're going to be working with who make pretty dang good money are going to be using AI in their work day to day because they have to. I have to. I have to use AI once a day on something, guys. Now, you may be thinking that AI can't replace you. It can't, but man, the agentic stuff is going a long way to smooth out the transaction and inform people in a very human way, right? Of those 800 million people, 82% of Americans use AI for housing insight. Now, housing insight goes beyond buying home, selling home. It's about renting. It's about neighborhoods versus neighborhoods, state versus state. It's about the not the zip codes that they're in, but the names of the subdivisions in which they're looking in, folks. Housing insight now goes beyond looking for a home. Frankly, I don't need you to sell. and buy a home. I need you to help me find the right one that fits my needs now and for my family going into the future. Okay. So instead of doing this, stop uploading your headshots and start doing things like give me a really fake headshot. Consumers want to know, frankly, how you look. If I'm a nasally pudgy Asian guy in the real world, share that in the offline world as well. Don't be afraid to share who you are and the expertise and wisdom that you are conveying in real life, because this is your competition, folks. This people will engage with the site every day. It's trustworthy. It upsells. Look at this. For a $6.49 power cord, I get more information on this purchase than I do about the biggest financial transaction of my life on most of your guys' online presence. I know every rating and review. I know what my grandmother thinks about it. I've seen 55 videos on how to plug a USB charger into the freaking wall. Uh, Think about this compared to the biggest financial transaction of your life and what we are not sharing as an industry. Okay? Your competition, your disruptor isn't who you think it is. It's companies like this who have become a verb in ways more than one. Okay? Be better than Amazon when it comes to your brand and your personal value than these guys share when it comes to how a USB cord works. Okay? Now, what you're seeing online are very human, are very human answers to very personalized questions. These are actual prompts that are being put into ChatGPT and other AI resources about this. You guys get asked these questions all the time. If you're not answering these questions on your personal website, on your YouTube videos, your Facebook posts, your blog, you're doing this wrong. See how human these questions are, right? This is the first time buying a home. Tell me everything I need to know. How long does it take to buy a house? How affordable is New York City? What are the pros and cons of buying a starter home? You got buyers and sellers out now seeking advice from a robot. This robot needs to lean to you. So create content that answers very personalized questions in a very personalized way. Visualize the journey with mind maps and infographics. Okay? There's a reason why folks use Canva now, right? Canva is a really, really great resource. If your association is sharing things like 10K research or infographics on affordability, share this stuff. But visualize the journey now more than ever before. And guys, the journey starts with them renting, folks. It's renting and saving on their down payment. 10 years, right? To get that 10% down payment, 10% down payment journey. Think about if you can cutting that in half to 5 years. If you can help people out with that, you're gonna be good to go. But visualize the journey more than ever. Stop explaining, because if you're explaining in this day and age, you are losing. Checklists is huge. And this is perfect because I've been talking about this since the beginning of time. My ex freaking wife does this when it comes to what she does for her buyers and sellers. She creates checklists on what people should be doing in the transaction before, during, and after, and what they should be thinking about why this checklist actually matters, because you're starting to see it. People want absorbable information with your brand on it. I'm starting my search and I'm worried about my credit score. Create a 5-step checklist of what I should do first. This is actually great. If you've got like a financial manager or mortgage person that can help out with things like this, do a video, 30-second video, put it on YouTube, put it on your website, transcribe everything you said into the general description of YouTube, and now you've got content. What we've done too much in this industry is talk about how awesome we are. That's no longer marketing, folks. Got to be better than that, right? But create checklists for consumers that can go a long way. Demystify jargon. I did this as the CEO of the Denver Metro Association of Realtors. I did a glossary of real estate terms because I got questions from consumers about what is insurance, what is PITI. The questions that you get in person now need to be answered online years now before somebody is reaching out to you. And what's great about this is that even if a consumer's not looking at it, AI is, right? But so demystify, answer personalized questions, and attract business with a value proposition by telling the story of who and why you help purchase these homes, right? Now, After we talk about marketing, one of the easiest things you guys can do is organize past client advocacy. Okay. Yelp reviews, LinkedIn reviews, Google business page reviews, Realtor.com, Zillow reviews and recommendations are hugely important right now for AI. Okay. Always ask those people, do it January 1st going into the year. Wherever you found me, love on me there. But always ask them, hey, you had a choice with every agent to buy and sell a home. Why did you use me? Okay, get it out there, populate things across the web wherever they find you. The biggest question I get asked is, I'm trying to get people to give me a recommendation on LinkedIn. Guys, if they found you on your Google business page or on your Zillow profile, stop asking them to go someplace where they're not comfortable. Get them to do the review and recommendation where they are. Ask, ask, ask. Do not worry about perfection. If this doctor can't get perfection after saving this guy's life, you're not going to get perfection helping buy and sell a home. But it's okay if they're answering these questions in very, very human terms, right? We talked about humanize your marketing, but I will tell you right now, one of the things that you shouldn't be doing is this. This is stupid. Every time an agent puts out sold in one day and multiple offers, this is horrible because what you're telling people is, hey, I don't need you. Because what do they think that we do? We just put a sign up, right? What consumers want right now more than anything is how you sold that home in one day in multiple offers. You need to share how the sausage is made. If you do not know how a home you're listing, how many hours it took to sell it in multiple offers and in one day, redo this business, guys. It takes agents that I know anywhere from 60 to 80 hours to get a home ready to sell in multiple offers. You all know this, guys. But if you're sharing the reasons why with consumers out there and attract their business sooner, you will get a seller off the fence much more quickly, guys. So talk about what you did. And this is why I'm telling you, most of the people that I know that were going above and beyond for their sellers when they didn't have to are thriving right now and continuing to attract business. They did the work. Everyone else needs to prove it. Okay. Now, the best online presence that I've seen continues to be this guy. Rip off this guy's website. It is an incredible online presence. His name is Raziel Unger, burlingameproperties.com. Check it out. If anybody knows where Burlingame is, it's across the bay from San Francisco, the city of San Francisco. It's where you go when you start popping out kids and you want to start raising your kids in a neighborhood. Burlingame is one of those places, and he actually takes his clients, his top clients, and makes them part of this marketing. If you're not doing this, guys, at least with your Yelp reviews and LinkedIn, rethink your consumer engagement. Okay. burlingameproperties.com, rip it off. They talk about how awesome Raziel is. They do. You need to stop talking about awesome you are. Easiest thing that you can do right now in your marketing is talk about how great you did, is having your clients talk about how great you did for them. Allison and Corey can carry the water. Heather and Akeen can do it. Heather and Steve. This is what marketing looks like going forward. Let other people tell the story, folks, for you. But then add to it the micro markets in which you do business, like Raziel does. Telling the story from population to homes and the price range and average sales price and what you're going to see when you're walking through the neighborhood is absolutely huge. He spends a ton of time and money on this. You can do this in much more feasible ways, but man, this is marketing going forward that continues to be a pace setter for the Bay Area. Really good stuff. This is actually a new part about all this is AI. It starts eating our world and your world. I would recommend right now that you unify your email, your CRM, and all of your consumer outreach onto one platform. I realize that I think I could talk for hours on this, but it's time now for you to think about one platform for everything. So if your CRM can't email out through your Gmail or your Microsoft Outlook, for example, rethink what your CRM looks like. Think about before, during, and after buckets when it comes to your CRM and any marketing that you do for it, because this world going forward is that AI is going to help you with a unified experience for your own infrastructure, make you much more efficient. Okay. It's really interesting what we're seeing out there right now. And a really good example of it is Notebook LM. The URL is up there, notebooklm.google. And what's interesting about it is that once everything is in one place, you can have AI analyze your own business. And AI can now do things like analyze what your clients are doing. It's gotten to the point now where AI can actually hear a voice and know between one phone call and a phone call a week later that that this person is much more enabled to buy or sell much more quickly. It's scary how artificial intelligence has become a thing. And what you're seeing now is if your back end infrastructure and your marketing is unified, with things like with Google, you can give people a notebook, a virtual notebook that on the left-hand side, you're seeing there a brand, an online outlet for your marketing, 10 steps to buy a home, 100 real estate terms to know about, 12 biggest surprises about buying. And if somebody can search just your brand via a notebook, guys, it's incredible. Okay. Go to Notebook LM, start an account, go to ChatGPT, start an account. It's all free, but experience what your clients are going to be thinking about moving forward. The AI world is coming and it's coming quickly. And man, is it scary how much better it has gotten year to year. Okay. So your brand needs to be there. Don't be a result of AI. Be part of the change that is happening in this AI world. It's incredibly exciting. More than anything, guys, be pro people always. Okay. Instead of you putting a picture of a Just Sold sign, put your clients up there. Instead of sharing, you know, um, the dollar volume that you sold this last year, which is dumb. Nobody cares. Okay. Share how many families you helped last year buy and sell a home. Okay. Volume is one thing, right? It impresses some people, but by and large, folks want to know how many people you've helped in regards to all of this stuff, right? As as the world starts to change, as the industry starts to evolve, you want to attract business right now than feeling entitled to it. It's an exciting time, guys, to think about where consumer data impacts your business. But if you're thinking long term and you're acting long term, deriving quality over the quantity that you're bringing in through really good marketing, through really good consumer outreach, with humanized messages, you're going to be okay. So think long term, up the ante, bring your sphere into place, and always bring people first. Your brand needs to be signified by all the people that you have helped going forward, folks. End of the day, that's the only thing that matters for lead generation in your business going forward. Okay? So we're right at the 50 mark. Perfect. I have got, here, let me just stop sharing my screen here. If anyone has any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. Liana, if there's any questions out there, happy to answer them. But you've got them. Hit me up. Come off mute. Ask me anything. Seriously. I've been stuck in this
I have a
office.
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I did ask a question in the chat when you were doing the stats for the Portland metro area. Um, I was asking, what about across Oregon? So my question there relates to farming type things. So I'm in the Portland metro area. I'm on the outskirts. I live in Estacada, and I tend to market or farm in Clackamas County. But what about farming? So I know that there's a lot of people who live in Salem, Albany, Eugene, like the I-5 corridor, but they work in Portland. And so I had thought about, I'm from Corvallis, Albany area. Um, and I thought about farming in that area for up here. So do we have any stats for the major metro areas in Oregon, not just
Yeah,
Portland?
yeah. So I looked at what Zillow had, and this is again an advantage for you guys to be able to talk about it, right? So the only metro that I found in Oregon was going to be in Portland, which basically means that there might not be enough information with the other outlying cities in order to get enough data for it to be valuable to you guys. Now,
Okay.
what's cool is what you can do is if you have a Chat GPT
Hmm.
account, right? It's worth it, by the way. It's like $50, $80 a month or something like that for like two seats. So pay for the full version,
Yep, I
but
have it.
ask it questions. You can
Hmm.
literally ask questions of ChatGPT because it's pulling from
Right,
everything that's online. And right now, it's pulling from information. So if you ask it, hey, what kind of person is moving from Portland, Oregon to Clackamas County, right? Name your county. There should be enough information there
create
for
a
you.
farm.
Yeah. So I,
Hmm.
I would go based on that information more than anything because you've got census data that's now available,
Hmm.
right? And you've got like U-Haul data. Like U-Haul data
Right,
is one of those that's like super entrenched in migration. You can figure out where folks are moving to and from and the reasons why if you just ask ChatGPT. It is
right.
incredible. It's incredible what you can do. So more than anything after
It,
that,
yeah, it's
it,
scary.
yeah, but you got to understand too now, it used to be 7 points of contact in order to make move the needle. You're now talking about dozens of contact points in order for them to make move the needle. So you need to think about,
Mm.
okay, so somebody was asking about Southwest Washington versus Oregon. You've got a whole lot of data that you can put out there, right? What are the tax impacts
Right,
of living in Washington versus Southwest Washington versus the county that you mentioned versus Oregon. Like there are a whole
right.
bunch of data sets that you can go in and talk about when it comes to that kind of thing. That's
Mhm.
what marketing is now when you farm. Okay.
Right. Hmm.
So I would go really do a deep dive into that, but start comparing and contrasting every conversation that you've ever had with a buyer and seller that move the needle. Like this is what content is now. It's work. And what sucks
Right,
is that most people are really behind the eight ball when it comes to this. Okay. So you got to catch up now. Make sure that your infrastructure is good from the brokerage level and you're going to be good to go. Okay.
right, right. Thank you very much.
Yeah. You can come up with a farm, but the data that would come up for you, the same data that would come up with anyone who is going to be doing it. Okay. So,
Right,
what consumer tends to call a Zillow agent versus search from other sources. The consumers out there right now, um, they want to know. So brands mean something. So Teresa, say you're farming, right?
right.
If your brand isn't a legacy brand, legacy brands are seeing more and more attraction because they know there's so much garbage online, folks. It's not even funny, right? So if
Uh-huh.
you're farming a brand new market, for example, you're going to want to talk about your complete brand. So it's you, your team, your brokerage, and what that means to a consumer, right?
Right,
So, Zillow is in there with you guys as being an institutional brand, right? So you love or hate the brands that you are working with, whatever you got that differentiates you, right? You're going to want to build that
hmm,
brand with it. That's different from farming your personal client sphere. Your personal client sphere knows who you
right,
are, right?
right.
So you just keep in touch with them. The stats where like 90% of people would use their agent again, but only 12% do. The reason why is that you guys don't keep up with them. Y'all drop the ball thinking that you're entitled to their business 14 years after they buy a home. Uh,
Right,
you're not entitled to it anymore. So you have to keep talking to these people and engaging with them and making your brand transition from, hey, here's what we do, and here's what I will do for you after the fact, right? Because that
right.
personal brand means a lot.
Yeah, I usually reach out to my clients. I'm I was born and raised in the real estate and construction world as you, and I went into health and life insurance for quite a few years, and after the Great Recession, and and I reach out to my clients usually quarterly, just to say, hey, hey, and that reach out is just to say, you know, hey, what are you doing right now? Or I'm here if you have any questions or need any help. Do you feel like quarterly is too much?
I think it's the quality of your engagements. If you're getting replies back to an email, you're getting likes on a Facebook page, you're getting views from YouTube, that's what you
Uh,
need to gauge everything with. If you're
okay,
getting nothing, that's not a good thing, right?
okay,
So sometimes, like you need to ask. Sometimes you
yeah,
need to ask what you want. So I found with my clients when I was an agent, like I
uh-huh,
found that they were numbers intensive. They like to be overwhelmed by information and wisdom and knowledge, right? So they love things like
uh-huh.
market updates. So, but I had to ask my clients
Right,
for that, right? And that's what's great thing about this business is that you don't have to be all things to all people. Once they trust
right,
you, you just need
right,
to give them the information that they want and the information they didn't know they needed, right?
right,
But do it in the way that they want to. And like this is also the thing too. It's like you don't need to be on TikTok. Like if you're on TikTok right now,
yeah,
you've got like 5 people, you're just weirding out like your kids and everyone else. Right.
yeah,
But if you've got 20,000 people or 5,000 people on your TikTok, double down on that. Right. But you don't need to be all things to all
yeah,
people, especially when you're trying to go broad. Casting a wide net, go to where
right,
the people that love you and like you, go to
uh-huh,
where they are first and then build from there.
right, right. Okay, thank you very much.
Yep.